Hey, what's up, guys? It's Inside the Puzzle here today, and we have a very special guest. I would like everybody to meet on the channel. Jackson, correct me if I'm
Oh,
wrong, Hong. And
yeah, close enough.
dope, dope, dope. He recently got second place at an online regionals recently, this weekend actually, with Red Green Law. And he's doing us the really nice courtesy of showing his deck list and giving us some insight. Jackson, how'd you like the deck and how'd you feel about its performance this weekend?
Yeah. So I'm not normally a law player. I picked it up like a couple days before the regionals. One of my friends, Thomas Nguyen, he got ninth in the regionals on Saturday, and he was trying to convince me to play it because I always say, "Oh, I want to play law. It's fun." And then I was like, "Okay, sure, I'll YOLO it." And it actually performed really well. It was really fun. Law in set two is extremely fun with how many searches you get. And it performed pretty well. Like I never bricked all day, and even when I did, I could play myself out of it. And yeah, I mean, it obviously helped because it got me second.
That's dope. That's dope. What were your matchups like? How many rounds did you play during regionals?
So I played the full 9 rounds. I went against five Kinemon, and I'm usually a green player, and I would play Kinemon, but I didn't want to go against so many mirrors, so that's why I played Law. One Zoro, one Ivankov, one Magellan, and one Whitebeard in the last round.
You didn't play at all any purple black Z?
No, and even then, I think this matchup isn't that bad for you. Like Black can blow up your stuff with your low body stuff, but they can't really swing for that much, and they don't have that much protection. So I actually prefer the Black matchups.
Okay, dope, dope, dope. Run us through your deck list if you don't mind.
Yep, for sure. So I'll go into the green and then the reds. So standard for Bonnie, she's really great because like half your deck are supernovas, and especially your 5-drop blocker law. That's a card you need in this matchup. He's your resource getter, and he recycles everything. So she's important. You want to see her in your mulligan hand if possible, or if not, you want to see the blocker law then. For beige blockers, blockers are like not that important in this meta, but he's a 1-drop. He's searching for Bonnie, and sometimes you do need the blockers against like Whitebeard, because you'll block like their 10k swing.
Okay.
For the top end, we're playing five of the blocker law. Pretty self-explanatory. He's basically the mini version of the leader effect, where you can bounce something and play something back. He's the card you want to see because he recycles all your searchers. And then he's 6k too, so people don't really use him as an attacker as much as they should. So you should swing with him more often than not. And if they try to swing over him, then that means they're not swinging over your leader, and they're trying to swing 6k instead of 5k. Two extras. This is kind of a flex spot. I tried the new green Frankie. I tried the new green Zoro, the 4-drop 6k. But extra is really good against the green matchup because when they suspend their Okikus or their Yamatos, you can just play extra and then pop them. And he's pretty strong too, 6k. And at worst case, you can just drop him as a vanilla 6k body. Yeah. And then the next card is 4 of the starter deck law. So this is kind of like the new evolution of law, where in the first format he kind of played like this 8-cost kid build, and you just kind of go defensive. Here you're more aggro, and you want to go really threaten lethal a lot. So he works with any supernova, and he restands them, even Bonnie. So if you don't have any better plays, you can restand your Bonnie and do another search, or just keep her active so that they can't swing over her. But he's really good with these two other guys that are 6k, or even himself. So against decks like Whitebeard, where you need to really swing out a lot, you can boost these guys up to like 10, 11,000, and then restand them law and swing 10, 11,000 again. But yeah.
Real quick question before we continue into the red. So, did you feel like the unsuspending law in the current format just made the deck like a more aggressive like red Zoro deck in a sense?
Exactly, yeah. One thing I say that too is like in set one, you kind of play law more like a green deck, where you build a lot of resources with your searchers, and then you kind of choke out your opponent, clear their board with their resters, and then maybe win with the ACOS kid. In set two, law kind of unlocks the red side, where you're more aggressive. You want to swing out more often, and you want to swing for big numbers and threaten lethal as much as possible, because this format is a lot quicker than the first format.
Okay, okay.
But yeah, and then this is mostly the top end we're playing into. And we're not playing any of the red 5-drops or anything because it's hard to find good green little bodies to shambles into. If you see, we only playing the Bonnie and the Capone. And if you're shambling out a Capone or Bonnie, then you're not getting as much value as you can. So that's why we're not playing any of the red top end. So for the red side, we're playing 4 of the Chopper. Same thing as beige, 1-drop blocker, so easy to get your shambles up. And it's searchable by Nami. 4 Namis, one of your value engines, it searches out a straw hat. In this build, she does whiff a lot more than in set 1 because you're not running as much straw hats. And even if she does whiff, that's fine. You just want her there for the 1-drop, and if she hits, then that's great, and then you can recycle her, and then at worst, she's a 1k counter. 4 of the Otama, this is the kind of card that helps you clear boards. So you can do the classic Otama pistol play to clear big bodies, or you can just Otama things that are rested like Okikus or anything, and then swing over them with any of your weak guys like your Nami or anything. And it's a 2K counter, and it's a 1-drop. And then we're also playing 2 of the Makino, the new card. It's a new 2K counter, and that she works well with your Nami because she boosts it up to 5K if you want to play her out, and then you can shambles her back. And she's just a 1-drop, so it helps you get to your board faster. And then the one change I made between mine and my friend Thomas's list is I changed out the third Makino for 1 Gordon. The idea was that the Gordon is the same thing. It's a 1-drop. It's searchable, and the difference is that it's a 2K attacker, so it works better with Makino because Makino makes this a 5K now, and also it helps the green matchup. It negs 3K, so it's 1K more than Otama. So if you do like a Gordon Vista play, you can pop 6K blockers like Law or Queens. So actually in 9 rounds, I only saw him once through drawing. Like I never saw him off the down or anything, and he came up in that 1 round because I used them together with Makino to boost them up to 5K. I used 2 Makinos actually, and he boosted up to 8K.
Well, that's pretty expensive.
Yeah. So he actually, I mean, I didn't see him as much. I can't say that was a better decision than doing third Makino, but he came up in that one scenario, so I feel like keeping him for now. It's just nice to have an extra DP reducer that's searchable to the down. And then next we're playing 4 at the Brook. It's just a 2K counter that's searchable by Nami, but his on-play effect does come up a lot. If you're trying to get another body out, but you still want to be a little bit aggressive because this Law build is more aggressive now, you can play him out for 2, and that 2 Don can go into your Law and make him a 7K attacker. And then the new searcher from the set, the Don. This is what really unlocks set 2 Law. So you're playing a lot of red 1-drops. So she rarely ever whiffs. And she's a 3K attacker, so it's really easy to make her like a threat on the board. Like against Zoro, she can swing over their Sunny Kuns, or you can just attach to her and make her a 5K. But she's a really nice value engine because she's more consistent than Nami, and she gets you such great pieces. She can get you the Nami, we can get you another piece, and she can get you these 2K counters, or she can get these 2 power reducers, or a chopper blocker. So she's one of the MVPs of this deck for sure.
So essentially, she nets you. She can get you like 1 of 15 cards, like your deck math. Like on average, you should always be able to consistently like resolve it for the most part.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that the math, she has 15 targets. Nami only has like 13 targets, so she's a little bit more consistent than Nami. But yeah, and she just gets you like the best cards, which are the 1-drops.
Okay.
Next we're playing the Vista, and he's kind of a replacement for Robin. The thing with Robin in set 1 is that to get her effect, you would have to swing with her, and you don't want to do that block, because if you swing with your Robin, then she's going to get swung over next turn, and you don't want that. You want to have 5 characters on board as much as possible. So his is really great because he's an on-play effect. So you can do like turn 2 if you're a 4 Dawn. If they play an Okiku something, you can do Otama Vista to pop their board, and now you have 2 bodies as well. And then you can just do some Law shenanigans where you can bounce him back with this Law, play him again for basically free, and then he can pop small blockers. I think one of the games I won because I had a Vista that popped his small blocker for only 3 Dawn. But yeah, he's really nice, and he's a 1K counter. And then only 2 of the Rush Zoro. You're not really reliant on Rush as much this set, just because you want to set up your board at least, so you have a comfortable board, and then you want to shambles into one of these guys, and then these guys are basically your replacements for your aggro. You want to get out a Law, Trick, or the other Law, and then these guys are going to swing a lot. So the Rush Zoro there is just in case you need like a immediate attack. So you can bounce it with, or play him out with this Law, and then have him swing over something. So yeah, he's just there, and he's also a Straw Hat target, which is nice. That's basically it. He didn't really come up that much, but he's pretty necessary to have some kind of rush cards in your deck.
I'm assuming and that you're threatening lethal and just like certain like niche situations, just like clear.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, if they have like 2 blockers out and you only have like 1 attack, then you can threaten out lethal with another attack they didn't expect. So they always have to respect the rush option.
Okay.
And then the last card is just 3 pistols. You can go to 2 or 3. I think with so much screen in the meta, 3 is probably necessary. So you can jet pistol their Laws, their Okikus, or even the Yamatos. So 3 is pretty necessary just so that you see it. It's searchable for both Nami and Bonnie, so you see it enough. But you always want to see at least 1. And it's also really great out of life. I think my game against Magellan, I got lucky in that he swung into my life and the pistol popped his Magellan. And then Magellan's effect is only your opponent's turn, so he didn't get to return to my Dawn because it was killed during his turn. But yeah, that's the deck.
Alright, dope. I really appreciate it. Just the last few questions before we go off. First one is, you've played other previous Bandai games, no? If I'm not mistaken, I've seen you in Digimon before.
Yeah, I played Digimon. Digimon was my first TCG, and I actually came back from Nationals where I think I got top 32. So it was like between 16 and 32. But yeah, so I got into One Piece because it was like another Bandai game, and I was like, okay, Bandai does a pretty good job, so I'm gonna try it out. And I think I like One Piece a little bit more at the moment, just because there's a lot more skill expression.
Can you explain a little bit more on the skill expression portion? Because I'm actually confused here. If you don't mind.
Yeah, so with Digimon, I think there's two main points. One is that the security aspect of Digimon is like comparable to the life aspect of One Piece, but the security aspect of Digimon is so much more game changing. So every card in Digimon is a trigger, whether it's a Digimon or like an option or something. Like some options don't have triggers, but you're risking your character or Digimon dying if you hit like a really large character. Whereas in One Piece, if you hit a character, it doesn't really do anything unless it has a trigger. And even the options right now or the events right now don't have as much like game changing triggers. Like in Digimon, I build like a big stack and then I stack in something that's really big in Digimon, and I can just the momentum can change. With One Piece, it's less game changing. And then the other thing is that in Digimon, there's a lot more variance in that your opening hand, can really dictate how the game goes. Like if you're missing a piece in Digimon, it's much more important than if you're missing a piece in One Piece. Because with One Piece, you can do anything, even if your hand is really bad. Like you can attach it onto your leader, attach it onto your characters, and swing, so that you always have plays no matter what you draw.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Are there any like tips or suggestions for like new coming players to the Law deck? Do you feel like Law is like the best deck currently, or do you feel like it wasn't the best deck?
No, I definitely don't think it's the best deck. I would put it there, like probably top four, along with Zoro, Whitebeard, and Kinemon. I just like it because it doesn't really have like a hard losing matchup. I think if you draw well enough, then you can outplay any bad matchup that it may have. And that if you want to get better law, I would say just pick up the deck and get reps in. It's not a deck that you can really like kind of grasp by doing test hands or watching law film. It's something that you have to actually get the cards and see like how the cards combine, and then like see like what tends to happen a lot. Like one's like, oh, Nami works a lot, so if I have a chance to play her, the Don, that I might want to play the Don more. And then you'll learn like these small tips and tricks when you keep playing it. So yeah, so definitely get a lot of reps in. Throughout the tournament, I took notes after every match, and I can see myself misplaying. So I wrote down like my misplays after every match, and then like by the end of it, like I became better and better at the deck.
Okay, that's dope. Do you watch One Piece anime personally?
Oh yeah, not anymore. I follow the manga, so I'm up to date with that. But I stopped watching the anime. I'll probably start watching again after Wano finishes.
Okay, dope. What's your favorite character in the anime?
Ace. He was like mostly because he's a cool guy, but like also he had that brother aspect, and I have a brother as well. So like that sibling bond is like it really stuck out to me.
All right, that's dope. That's dope. Do you have a YouTube channel yourself so that we can give you shoutouts?
Yeah, so my YouTube channel right now is called Royal Nuts Gaming. I haven't uploaded in a while. I've been meaning to upload for a while, but like it just happens that every time I do well in an event, another format starts like a week after, so it's not worth uploading a deck profile for like a format that's changing. And also my Twitter, ClydeTCG. I'm trying to upload more kind of messages there, like tips and tricks or deck profiles of the day, just so that I can kind of share the stuff that I've been learning because I love this game.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. Well, thank you so much, Jackson, for taking the time to give us your in-depth deck profile and your thoughts. We really